Welcome, everyone. Good to have you here. If you're someone who's suffering from complex trauma, early childhood trauma, PTSD, depression, feel like a lost cause, feel like giving up on yourself, I'd like you to hang in there, keep on going. And I'd really love to encourage you to keep the hope. What I'm doing here in this video is I'm going to provide you with an action plan that has helped me to overcome these kind of huge struggles. And they are actually touching on each arena of your being. And I think it's very good that we focus on every aspect. The first aspect I'd like to focus on is the mental one. And I'd highly suggest you to read books, watch podcasts that help you understand yourself better. And I started reading books by Alice Miller. I can highly recommend them if you are suffering from something that's related to your family structure. Understanding the kind of dynamics is very helpful. So Alice Miller's books, I read them all and I can really recommend all of them. Just take one that you feel drawn to. Next is Susan Forward. She's very good at also showing the toxic dynamics in relationships. They can help you to see yourself maybe if you are caught up in these kind of relationships and understand your own position better. Also, the books by Alexander Loven, and especially if it's about trauma, Peter Levine has fantastic books. There's a huge list, many more of them, but those were the ones that I really benefited from. Next thing is, if you want to focus on the physical, very often we do neglect that this physical aspect of ours needs the attention as well. And therefore, I can highly recommend if you look into trauma therapies, look into movement exercises, awareness exercises that really bring you back into your body. Usually, when we have trauma, if we are coming from a very detrimental past, then we tend to dissociate from ourselves and our body. And it's very good to really allow yourself to come back into your own vessel again, to really integrate yourself into your own body again, to really be connected to your own physical state. The methods that I really enjoyed were somatic experiencing. They were great. Also, craniosacral therapy. They are very gentle methods. What I also enjoyed were trauma releasing exercises. They are really fantastic to discharge the system. And I used it over a prolonged period of 90 days and continued even afterwards when I felt, okay, there was tension again within my system. So I can highly recommend those. Maybe it might be good to visit a practitioner for those because they can explain the exercise and then you can do it easily at home. Next thing is the spiritual. I'd like to touch on the spiritual as well, because when we are very much denying ourselves, when we are in trauma, we usually focus on the bad things. We focus on our own challenges and we lose perspective to something higher, that we are coming from something higher and that we are having the connection as well. So whatever you feel drawn to, allow your spiritual aspect also to nourish. And my go-to is I really love and appreciate the Rudolf Steiner stuff. It's mystical Christianity. It really feels like I can connect to my higher self very well there. But I also love to use past life regressions and life in between life sessions. You find your own methods. You find the own solutions. That's the most important thing. I can tell you any kind of methods, but if you don't feel drawn to them, don't go for them, but just check out there's such a variety that is available to you within these times, and you're gonna notice what does you good, what's supportive, and you also gonna notice what actually brings you even further away from yourself. The last thing I really feel is very important and very much overlooked, and even by a lot of therapists, because they usually focus on the mind and think if you sort out the mind, everything is good. But the reason why we're clinging on to old belief sets and are just not releasing them easily is because they are connected to emotions. And if we don't understand our emotional sphere, this might make things quite difficult. I do recommend that you sit with your emotions, that you observe your emotions, that you notice, bring them to awareness. But very often, if it's trauma, this might not be enough. And it wasn't enough for me. So I really had to go to some kind of therapy modalities that helped me with that. And my go to was very often the regressive hypnotherapy. And I was searching for the kind of people that really were having some kind of awareness about the emotions, because a lot of them really focus just on changing your mindset. And that's all good, but we are a bit more complex than that. So that's my action plan. That's really my recommendation. Maybe make a list, write down all these aspects of yourself, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. And if you have those written down, find something that is appealing to you, find something that is helpful to you. And for the mental also, I mean, you could write down journaling or you could do journaling. So for the mental, there are many ideas. For the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical. There are really many options out there. It's important that you focus on the one that resonates the most with you. And that's something I really want to encourage you, because if we divert and if we pull ourselves back and get a bit careless about it and don't care about the needs of ourselves in regards to these aspects, we won't make any progress. We might stay stuck in this state. We might stay stuck in the trauma and in the trauma responses. And this is probably not what you want, because that's the suffering you actually want to move away from. But the suffering, we cannot move away from it by simply dissociating. You might have experienced it all your life, most likely when it's early childhood trauma. This dissociating is only short-term solution, and that's the response of our body to get us out of the uncomfortable place. But in the end, as adults, we need to face what's lying underneath. We cannot just ignore it. It doesn't work. We did that for too long already and it never worked. It still was haunting us. And that's what I really want you to recognize and see, in order to move yourself into a better place. And you can. Everyone can. I'm absolutely convinced of that. But it needs a cultivation of awareness in regards to all these aspects. And I really hope you are giving it a go, you're giving it a try. And really, if there are moments where you feel like you want to give up on yourself, hang in there, write it down, do movements, whatever you feel called to. You can overcome this, but then take action steps to help yourself, because you are worth it and you are an incredibly beautiful being that deserves to live, and we all want you to thrive. That's just from me. I hope you found some benefit. Let me know in the comments down below what your strategies are, what helps you to cultivate one of these aspects and help yourself to strengthen them. And otherwise, I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Take good care and goodbye for now.